This is in reference to Billy's Talking Points memo from, what day was it, Monday, October 20th, 2014. I don't even know what the title was. It had something to do with Ebola, as usual. But Billy, you start out the first thing trying to give some, I don't know, whatever the percentages are, polls on the Democrats and Republicans, and about how the Republicans don't have a good figurehead. They have not made efficient use of their talking points so that people would be more inclined to vote for them. And of course, the premise of your thing is that they should be voting for Republicans and not for Democrats. And of course, you make the point of saying that the Democrats have painted a picture of the Republicans as being anti-women and in the tank for the rich. And the thing is, that's not something that should be argued. That's a fact. That's not a hypothesis. That's not an assumption. That's a down and dirty fact. Now, there are some Democrats who are in the tank for some very rich people also, but much less so than the Republicans who are in the tank. They're also not only anti-women, they're anti-poor, they're anti-people of color. They're not really concerned about the Americans at the bottom of the economic scale having a living wage, being capable of providing for their families based on what a living wage should be in the United States. They don't care about that. So that's what's been going on. Now, in spite of all that, as you had pointed out, all elections are local, and right now there's eight Senate seats that are up for right now, and the Democrats need to win 3 or 4 to keep the Senate. And they're definitely a given that they're out on 3, and they're behind on, I don't know, they're behind on quite a few. Maybe it's going to inch up in the back, but I know the point of your whole thing was basically to indicate the polls. Why should anyone be believing the Democrats? You should be believing, especially with Obama running the whole thing, you should be voting for Republicans, in spite of the fact that really is just an effective way that the Democrats have pinned the Republicans as being anti-women and in the tank for rich people, when it is an absolute, God-honest fact. Now, the next thing you do is, of course, you gyrate that, or you segue that right into Ebola. And, of course, I'd like to point out that as of today, October 21st, I do believe that the gentleman from NBC who came here, who contracted the disease in West Africa, is due to get out soon. I do believe that the other person who contracted the disease, I'm not sure which one is the one in Emory or the one at NIH, is also due to get out pretty soon. They're both doing well. I do believe the last one that they found who contracted it, the one that's at NIH, I believe that person is still doing well. So that frees up approximately 2 beds and possibly a 3rd bed for any additional Ebola viruses that may occur here in the United States. And of course, that I believe that the 21-day incubation period, or whatever the period is that you call it, that isolation period, has elapsed. And those people who are under voluntary isolation have come out, and I don't know if any of them have contracted the virus. Of course, if they had, I know that we would have heard about it too sweet. So you want to segue right into the Ebola, how terrible Obama is that he's allowing all these people from West Africa here, and no one has contracted the disease since Thomas Duncan brought it here in early September or late August, whenever that was. So, you continue to want to invoke the fear factor. You don't use scientific methods. You just know that it sounds good, makes you look good, makes the conservatives look good, make it sound like they really care about the country in terms of having a travel ban. But none of that is true. None of that is true at all whatsoever. And of course, you end up the way you always end up, the lovely way that you end up, is you continue to talk about what a violent and chaotic and dangerous world that we're living in right now. And, it's almost to the point right now, for the last couple of days, there hasn't been any new news that's really earth-shattering. There hasn't been anything new on the ISIS thing. Polls are switching a little bit here and there on the upcoming elections, but there hasn't been any big national news. But you continue. This is one of the reasons why I really love you, is because you're so great at inducing the fear that there is something tragic amiss. Everything's going downhill, in the United States because of Obama. He's not a leader. He can't manage effectively. He can't run anything. you know, and you base it on nothing. Just base it on the fact that you're sitting behind a camera saying he's not an effective leader. Well, I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. I'm in the tank for Barry. He's doing a much better job than you can imagine. You couldn't even come remotely close to doing that kind of job because you're not objective in any way, shape, or form. Nor do you want to be objective, and nor do you really want to help the average person in the United States, especially a person of color.